Today, I present that incident before you. For special reasons, I am not revealing the real name of the person involved. However, every moment, every place, and every word will remain real and unaltered. For the main character of today's story, I have given the name Maya. Maya, a gentle, quiet name, just like Maya herself. Since childhood, she was never much of a talker. It always felt as though an invisible fear lived inside her. The darkness of night, suddenly waking up at midnight, shivering in fear with eyes closed while sensing someone's warm breath nearby. These were all normal parts of her life. At present, Maya is studying at a well-known public university in Dhaka, and I, from nearly 4,000 kilometers away, recalling her words, am now about to put into writing the burden of the two terrifying experiences she once shared, so that this story comes alive in the hearts of the listeners, so that Maya's fear casts its shadow upon their emotions. With that intention, I am presenting the main story as a combination of those two incidents. In Maya's voice, through Maya's feelings, in Maya's world. So, without further delay, let us open that closed door of the past, the place where Maya's terrifying journey began. Maya says, "My home is in a village somewhere in the Damrai area of Dhaka, where the stillness of deep night seems to swallow every sound. In that remote corner of Damrai, our house stands as if breathing the long sigh of emptiness, beginning in silence and ending in an unknown darkness. Our house stands quietly in isolation. To the right of our home, there is a narrow path leading toward the market. Feels lifeless, like a desert, not paved, just layered with dust and loneliness. As we walk along that road, especially at odd hours, it often feels like someone behind us is matching their footsteps with ours. But when we turn around, there is nothing. On the left side of the house is our neighbor's home, and between us stands my favorite neem tree, growing right beside the boundary wall. Its branches stretch and meet at one corner of our open rooftop. Behind the house, there are a few scattered homes and some empty land. A little further away lies the familiar marketplace. In front of the house, as far as the eye can see, there are only endless fields. At one corner of the field lies a raised patch of land. Today, it is no longer just abandoned soil. It is a pile of dead memories. Once, it was a cremation ground. Some locals say that deep beneath the earth still lie the ashes of burnt bodies, tangled with shadows, traces of unknown forces. Even now, on dark nights, people claim that restless spirits scream from there, crying, "We are burning, we are burning." When night falls and all the lights in the nearby houses go out, whispers float in the wind, eerie, disembodied laughter. Some say they have seen shadows move at the edge of the field, as if someone is walking there. And then, suddenly, it all disappears into silence. Many have seen it, but no one wants to speak. Perhaps they are afraid. Or perhaps, like me, they have encountered that shadow once. An encounter that still steals my sleep at night. But the most mysterious thing in this area stands a little further away. A tall, dry, thorny tree, standing upright as if defying everything. Just hearing its name brings fear into the eyes of the villagers. All the other old trees in the village were cut down long ago. Some used for furniture, some burned as firewood. But no one dares to touch this tree, as if the tree protects itself. And those who try to show courage, rumors begin to spread about them. It remains an unsolved mystery. People say that a jinn lives in that tree. At night, when everything falls silent, if you listen closely beneath it, you can hear crying. Others say it's not crying, it's laughter. A strange, distorted laughter that sends chills down your spine. We moved to this area in 2008, and since that time, I have been seeing that tree. Whenever my eyes drift in that direction, an unknown uneasiness begins to build inside my chest, as if some ancient curse is buried deep within its roots. It was a hot night in 2014. I was around 13 or 14 years old. At that time, our family had only 3 members, me, my mother, and my elder brother. One evening, as I sat down to study, my mother called me from her room. There was a trace of exhaustion in her voice. "Maya." "Yes, Mom?" "When your brother comes home from the office, I'll go to the doctor with him. I'm not feeling well today. Will you be able to stay alone at home? I nodded and said, I can, Mom. Don't worry, because I had a lot of studying to do. All right, I'll inform the lady next door. She'll keep an eye on you. And if you have any problem, call her. Okay, Mom. As soon as my brother returned home, my mother left with him. Before leaving, she told me to lock the gate properly. I locked the gate and sat down at my study table. But I couldn't focus. The silence of the house, the trembling shadows on the walls, the ticking of the clock, it all felt like a rhythm of fear beating inside my chest. An unknown discomfort was swallowing me whole. Evening turned into night. It was past 9 p.m. I left my books and went up to the rooftop, hoping for some fresh air and maybe to catch a glimpse of my mother returning. It was a moonlit night. Everything was washed in an otherworldly golden glow. The leaves of my neem tree rustled softly, as if whispering to me, Come. I turned my face away from it and looked toward the road, like a restless bird waiting. From the rooftop, the winding road beside our house was clearly visible. I stood there, staring intently. Suddenly, I saw something. From a distance, my mother and brother were walking toward home. Their familiar faces, their familiar clothes, their familiar way of walking. I could even hear fragments of their conversation. It all seemed as real as daylight. They were coming home. Without a second thought, I ran downstairs. I grabbed the keys from the table, my hands trembling with excitement. Just as I was about to unlock the gate, a loud voice from behind startled me. Hey, Maya, where are you going? I turned around in shock. It was the aunt from the neighboring house, calling me from over the wall. I said, Auntie, Mom and my brother are coming. I'm going to open the gate. She frowned, confused. Where? I just spoke to your mother on the phone. She said they'll be late. She asked me to keep an eye on you. I heard the gate and came out worried. Who came? All the blood drained from my face. What was she saying? My body went cold. My lips trembled. My throat went dry. In a shaky voice, I said, But I clearly saw them. I even heard their voices. There was a deep concern in her eyes. You saw wrong, Maya. Go inside immediately. Lock the gate. And call me if anything happens. I said nothing. I locked the gate again and went inside. But inside my chest, a storm was raging. Had I really seen it wrong? Then why did everything match so perfectly? Their clothes, their voices, their movements. Why did I hear them speaking? Then who were they? Were they not real? Were they just shadows? I remembered those stories I had heard so many times, that unseen entities sometimes take the form of loved ones, calling you, luring you away, into the unknown, from where no one ever returns. Even now, those two familiar faces floated before my eyes, faces that were never truly mine. If I had been even a moment late, perhaps I wouldn't be alive today. That night, my mother and brother really did return late. As soon as they came back, they asked, Are you okay? Took longer than expected. I even called the neighbor to check on you. I couldn't answer. After that night, I couldn't sleep properly for many nights. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that moonlit road, those shadowy figures, calling me in my mother's and brother's voices. Why did they come? To this day, I have found no answer. I only know this. If my aunt hadn't called me at that exact moment, something terrible might have happened. Perhaps mothers always sense when their children are in danger. Then, sometime in 2022, in one of the busiest areas of Dhaka City, I rented a rooftop room with a classmate of mine, Tuli, a pseudonym. After getting admitted to university, we were looking for a place nearby, and this seemed like a convenient option. For the first few days, it felt like luck was on our side. But that happiness didn't last long. Strange, illogical, and impossible things slowly began to surround us. At first, we noticed the lights in the bathroom would suddenly stop working. We had to change the electric lights again and again. In this age of LED lights, such a thing is quite unusual. Even after calling an electrician, no solution was found. And the most surprising thing was the water tap would often turn on by itself. We would make sure it was tightly closed, yet after some time we would see water flowing continuously. One day, before leaving for university, I checked one last time to make sure the tap was off. Then I locked the room and left. When I returned in the evening, I saw the floor flooded with water. Water had overflowed from the washroom and turned our room into a muddy, ghostly pool. By then, we had somewhat grown used to these abnormalities. Yet every night carried an unknown fear. Almost every day, between 3 o'clock and 3:30 a.m., I would wake up for no reason, as if by an unseen will. The moment I woke up, I felt my body grow heavy, a pressure, as if someone was sitting silently on my chest. When I opened my eyes, it felt like someone was sitting in a corner of the room. Invisible, yet its presence was as sharp and real as a blade. Sometimes the air in the room would suddenly turn cold, as if the breath of a dead soul had touched my skin. At other times, it would become unbearably hot, scorching my body. From the direction of the washroom, I would often hear the sound of water dripping. But I never had the courage to follow that sound. It always felt like something was waiting there, waiting to complete my fear. At times, the sound of bare footsteps would slowly approach across the floor. The window panels would suddenly slam open with a loud crash, even when there was no wind outside. And then I would feel it right beside my bed, someone breathing. That breath carried the scent of dead flowers, damp soil, and a faint, broken sob. The entire room would turn into a ruin of silence, where even silence screamed. Each night felt longer than the final moments before death. Before dawn, it was as if I died again and again, only to come back to life to witness that terror once more. We often went to the rooftop in the evenings for some fresh air. That's when we noticed it. In one corner, a black cat would sit. But it was no ordinary cat. There was a strange glow beneath its eyes, as if it was throwing fire toward us. It would sit completely still, like a statue, unmoving, only staring at us. One evening, something terrible happened. We laughed and tried to scare it away, jokingly. Perhaps that day we crossed our limits. We said, "There's no use trying to scare us. We are not afraid of you. You can't do anything." That very night, I woke up with intense pain. On my right hand, there were clear bite marks, as if someone had sunk sharp teeth into my flesh. Shocked, I looked at my friend Tuli's hand. She had the same marks. The room had been locked. No one had entered. Yet those bite marks, that was when we realized that black cat from the rooftop was not made of flesh and blood. It was something else, something filled with vengeance. Perhaps a transformed entity, or the lingering rage of a girl who had taken her own life. Later, we heard from someone that a young woman had committed suicide in that very rooftop corner years ago. Since then, no one could stay in that rooftop room for long. We somehow managed to stay for another week, in fear and anxiety, helpless. But in the end, we decided no more. We left that house. Even today, when I try to sleep at night, sometimes, as soon as I close my eyes, I feel the burning gaze of those red eyes on my face. My body still trembles. I don't know how terrifying these incidents may seem to others, but to me, each one felt like the touch of pure horror. Even now, when I remember it, a cold shiver runs through me. And this is where the story comes to an end. Story 2. This incident actually happened to a neighbor named Nassim and his wife Sheila. The story is being presented exactly the way it was told to me by Mommy. According to her, at that time Nassim and Sheila had been married for about 10 to 12 days. Very quickly, Sheila developed a good relationship with her in-laws. Their house was mainly made of tin, and around it there was a jungle behind the house, a bamboo grove on one side, and a pond area nearby. There were many rumors about that pond area, that it was not a good place, that some unseen presence existed there. Because of this, people rarely went near it. In this situation, one early morning during far time, Sheila went to perform ablution. She went toward the tube well area, not the pond, which was surrounded by tin fencing. In those tin fences, there are usually small holes here and there, something commonly seen in rural areas. Through one of those holes, she suddenly saw something. Near the jungle, she noticed a figure about 4 to 4.5 feet tall. The figure had completely red eyes, intensely red, and it was staring directly at her with a terrifying gaze. Seeing this, Sheila ran back to the house in fear and started shouting. When everyone came after hearing her, she told them what she had seen. She asked her mother-in-law, "I saw something, but I don't understand what it was. Why did this happen to me?" Her mother-in-law did not take it very seriously. She said, "No, nothing like that can happen here. Our house is fully protected. Your father-in-law's father used to practice spiritual rituals and had secured this house. So nothing like that should happen here. I think it's just your imagination." Sheila then thought that maybe it really was her imagination. It was early morning after waking up. Perhaps she had seen something incorrectly, so she didn't think much about it afterward. About 6 months later, one day she suddenly found out that she was pregnant. Since the marriage had only been 6 months earlier, the family was somewhat displeased at first, thinking it was too early to have a baby. Although they were upset initially, eventually they accepted it. After that, medical checkups were done and everything was normal. During this time, she did not face any unusual problems. But one night she had a dream. Before describing that dream, there is something important to mention. A few days after the earlier incident of seeing the figure near the tube well, Nassim's cousin had come to visit their house with her young son, who was about 3 to 4 years old. The child was very sweet, and Sheila developed a warm bond with him. They stayed for around 5 to 10 days and everything was normal during that time. On the night the cousin left, Sheila saw that dream. In the dream, she found herself near that same pond area, the same feared place. She had gone there for some work. Suddenly, she saw a child in the water, raising his hands as if trying to survive, as if he was drowning. When she got closer, she realized the child looked like Nassim's cousin's son. Seeing this, she became terrified, thinking the child was about to die. Without hesitation, she jumped into the water and tried to save him. She almost reached the edge while pulling him out. But then, she realized something was wrong. The child was not the same. It had transformed into something else. Its face was completely different. Its eyes were red, and its face looked horrifying, almost as if it was decaying. Terrified, she tried to run away. But the entity started chasing her, and as it chased her, it kept growing bigger in size. She ran back into the house, entered her room, locked the door and lay down. All of this was happening within the dream. But then, even after lying down, she felt someone grabbing her hand and pulling her. When she opened her eyes, she saw that same entity inside her room, pulling her. At that moment, she fell from the bed, and her sleep broke. At the same time, Nassim later described that during the night, around 11 to 12 o'clock, while sleeping, he suddenly felt a strong, long pull on his hand. This was the second incident. Nassim realized that his wife had fallen off the bed. When he picked her up from the floor and placed her on the bed, he noticed foam coming out of her mouth. Alarmed, he called everyone in the house, his parents and others, to come and see what had happened. They all tried to understand the situation. After some time, when Sheila regained a bit of consciousness, she explained everything. She told her mother-in-law, "These things are not normal at all. One day I saw that figure near the tube well, and today in my dream I saw something like that again. After waking up, I even saw signs of it in my room. There were wet footprints on the floor. These things are not normal. I don't understand any of this." But once again, her mother-in-law did not take it seriously. She repeated the same thing, that their house was protected and nothing could happen there. She insisted it was all just Sheila's imagination. A few days later, Sheila was sweeping the yard near that jungle, the same frightening place near the pond. As soon as she went there, she suddenly felt uneasy. For no clear reason, her body became heavy, and the hair on her skin stood up. Overcome with fear, she ran back inside. After that, for a few days, everything seemed normal again. There were no problems. But within a couple of days after that dream, one afternoon or evening, Sheila suddenly felt severe pain in her stomach, so intense that she could neither stand nor lie down properly. She was in extreme agony. She went to the doctor with Nassim. After examination, the doctor said that the baby had died inside the womb. It needed to be removed through surgery, otherwise it could cause further complications. The operation was done, and the small, lifeless baby was taken out. It was a baby boy. The entire family was deeply saddened. Even though at the beginning they were not happy about the early pregnancy, the loss of a child brought immense grief. The baby had not even been born, yet the pain was unbearable. The family spent several days in mourning. Time passed, about 6 to 7 months. Then Sheila and Nassim decided that they should try again. Despite what had happened, the family still had hopes and dreams for a child. So they tried again. After about 6 months, Sheila became pregnant once more. This time, everything was done carefully. She received proper medical checkups, treatments, and took all necessary precautions. No risks were taken. For a while, everything went well. Life returned to normal. The family waited with hope and happiness for the baby. But after a few months, suddenly, Sheila again felt pain in her stomach. She was taken to the doctor, and once again the doctor said it was a miscarriage. This time it had happened at an early stage. They could not understand why this was happening again and again. There seemed to be no clear reason. After returning home, Sheila told her mother-in-law, "These things don't feel normal to me. This time I had no problems at all. Nothing happened. I didn't fall or get hurt. Then how did I lose the baby? I don't understand anything." Later, Sheila informed her own mother about everything. Her mother lived somewhere in Sirijanj, Rajshahi. After hearing everything, her mother came from Sirijanj to see her. She told Sheila's mother-in-law, "You may not believe in these things, but I feel something is wrong. I want to take my daughter with me and arrange some kind of treatment or solution. If something happens to her later, you will not be able to take responsibility." With that, she took Sheila with her to Sirijanj. After reaching there, she contacted a religious healer, Huser. After examining the situation in different ways, the Huser said, "There has been black magic done upon you and your husband in your in-laws' house. But this black magic is not the reason for the loss of your children. The black magic that was performed was meant to create distance between you and your husband, to damage your relationship. However, this black magic was not intended to harm your child. There is something else involved here. There is definitely something jinn-related connected to your in-laws' house. There must be some kind of past incident, something that happened before, which neither I nor you fully know yet. You need to find out what that is, because if you don't uncover it, you will never truly understand why these things are happening. And honestly, the black magic itself is not my main concern right now. First, you need to find out what the core problem in your in-laws' house actually was." After hearing this, Sheila called Nassim. She told him, "I went to a religious scholar and he told me all these things. If you know anything about this, please tell me." Nassim replied, "No, I honestly don't know anything about this. No one has ever discussed such matters with me. And to be honest, I'm not very interested in things like jinn or spirits, so I never really asked about them. But since you're asking, I'll talk to my parents and see what I can find out." Later, after speaking with his parents, he called her back and said, "No, they didn't tell me anything. There doesn't seem to be anything like that." After this, Sheila decided to go back to her in-laws' house. She told her mother in Sirijanj, "I have to go back. I need to find out the truth." That night, after returning, she gathered all the family members together and said, "Please tell me everything that has happened in this house. If you continue to hide things or avoid the truth, someone in this house could lose their life very soon. Please, tell me everything." Hearing this, her father-in-law became uneasy. After a moment, he said, "My daughter, I do want to tell you something. I know a part of the truth, but I never spoke about it before because I didn't think it was necessary. But now that the matter has come up, I will tell you everything. If it helps you or frees you from this problem, then it's worth it. Honestly, I feel ashamed to say this, because it involves my father, the one who kept that room locked." He then began to explain, "My father's name was Rafikullah. He was a confectioner, someone who made sweets. Alongside that, he also did farming to support the family. During the day, he worked in the fields, and at night, he would make sweets from curd and milk. But at one point, he stopped doing these jobs. He had learned traditional spiritual healing practices and had control over several jinn. Among them, there was one particular jinn whom he treated very harshly. He forced that jinn to do all kinds of work, helping in farming, doing tasks at night, everything. He had obtained this jinn while performing a ruqya, spiritual healing, on a woman. That woman was of a bad nature, and the jinn inside her was actually a righteous, knowledgeable jinn like a scholar. After acquiring the jinn, my father told it, "Work with me." The jinn agreed, thinking it would be serving a righteous person. But after gaining control over the jinn, my father's greed began to grow. He started doing unethical things. He began solving people's problems using the jinn in exchange for money. Eventually, he even got involved in black magic. At that point, the jinn became angry and said, "I cannot continue doing such evil deeds. Release me." But by then, my father had already trapped the jinn through certain rituals. Somehow, he had bound it. The jinn was now forced to obey him. He continued to make the jinn perform all kinds of harmful acts. The jinn repeatedly refused, saying, "Please don't make me do this. I cannot." But my father did not stop. He continued performing various rituals. Among those rituals, there was one that had to be performed on the night of the new moon. On that night, he prepared himself and took out a knife, one that had been enchanted through various incantations and sacred verses. This knife was no ordinary weapon. It was extremely powerful. He used it to strike and even kill jinn. Holding that knife, he set out toward an old, abandoned Kali temple. People used to say that the temple was not a good place, that it was inhabited by dark forces, even something demonic. Despite that, someone still occasionally performed rituals there, applying vermilion, sindoor, to the statue of the goddess. Raffaculla needed that vermilion for a specific ritual. So, on that new moon night, he went to the temple with his enchanted knife. As he approached the temple, he began hearing strange sounds from all around. When he stepped inside, he saw something terrifying. The statue wasn't still. It was shifting from one place to another, almost transparently. One moment it was in front of him, and the next moment, in the blink of an eye, it had moved somewhere else. At first, he thought it was just an illusion, something wrong with his eyes. To counter this, he took out a black cloth from his pocket and tied it over his eyes. Then, using his sense of direction, he tried to estimate the statue's position, thinking, if I move a little to the right, a little to the left, a bit forward, I should be able to reach it. Slowly, step by step, he moved forward. Finally, when he felt he was close enough, he reached out and placed his hand on the statue's head. The moment he touched it, a violent storm seemed to erupt around him. The air roared, and debris and leaves began swirling across the temple floor. Without hesitation, he gripped the statue and, with one powerful stroke of his knife, slashed its neck. He tried to take the severed head, but as soon as he removed the cloth from his eyes, he froze. The floor where the statue had stood was now covered in blood up to his knees. Then he heard a whisper, an invisible voice, right beside his ear. "You have made a terrible mistake. You may have killed me, but someone from my family will come for revenge. You will not survive. No one will be able to save you from this injustice. You must die. Just wait. My family will come." But Raffaculla didn't take it seriously. He thought, "I am a powerful spiritual master. What can anyone do to me? I'll handle it." After completing the ritual, he returned home and continued his practices, gaining even more power. Sometime later, one day, he was returning from the marketplace. On the way, he saw something unusual, a large elephant walking alongside a baby elephant. In a small village market, such a sight made no sense. Being experienced in such matters, he immediately understood. These were not real elephants. They were something else, something supernatural. But he wasn't afraid. As he walked closer, he thought, what can they possibly do to me? I have powerful knowledge and control over such forces. At that moment, he heard a disembodied voice speaking to him. "Oh, healer, I have been watching you for a long time. I have seen your work, and I like you. I want to give you a gift. But first, you must do a few tasks for me." "Look behind the elephants." He went behind them. Behind the larger elephant, he saw a massive chest, like a royal treasure trunk, filled with gold ornaments and coins. And tied to the tail of the smaller elephant was a pot, overflowing with gold and valuables. Seeing this, greed took over him. Raffaculla had already become a very greedy man. He thought, all right, I'm getting all this for free. If I have to do a few tasks, I'll do them. And if I can't, I'll just trap this jinn as well. With that in mind, he said, "Fine, I will do your tasks first." But Raffaculla said, "Give me those things first." The jinn replied, "All right, you choose. Whichever one you touch first will be yours." Without hesitation, Raffaculla grabbed the large trunk tied to the tail of the bigger elephant. He took it home. When he opened the trunk, he was amazed. Inside were countless gold coins, shining, glittering, perfectly pure gold. But the moment he picked them up, something strange happened. The coins instantly turned black, like charcoal. Their shine disappeared, and dark smoke began rising from them. This made him furious. He thought, if I ever meet that jinn again, I will definitely bring this up. That night, he had a dream. In the dream, a jinn appeared and said, "Healer, you have taken my treasures. You got what you wanted, but you are not fulfilling your promise." Raffaculla replied in the dream, "Make those things usable first, then I will do your work. Otherwise, I won't." An argument broke out between them. The jinn said, "If you don't do my tasks, how can you expect to use those treasures? First complete my work, then you can use them." But Raffaculla refused. "No, I will use them first, then I will do your work." The argument grew intense. Finally, the jinn threatened him. "Listen, what you are doing is very wrong. You don't understand my power. The house you sealed, the rituals you used to trap spirits, even the severed head you used, I know everything. Entering your house is nothing for me. I will punish you. You will not get any gold. You will lose your life." By now, Raffaculla's arrogance had grown immensely. He thought, how dare a jinn speak to me like this? He challenged it. "Do whatever you can. Let me see your power. Get lost." The jinn disappeared. The dream broke. When he woke up, he dismissed it as just a dream. A few days later, one evening, he went to his fields, as he often did after Maghrib prayers, to check on his crops and irrigation. Time passed. Even after Isha prayer time, around 10 or 11 at night, he still hadn't returned. His son grew worried. Thinking something was wrong, he gathered a few people and went out to search for him. When they reached near the fields, it was completely dark. They couldn't see much. They searched for about 20 to 30 minutes. Then suddenly, they saw something horrifying. 2 human feet sticking out of the ground. Someone had been buried underground, with only the legs visible. They quickly began digging. After struggling for some time, they uncovered the body. It was Raffaculla. He was already dead. His neck was broken. His eyes were torn out. His body was in a horrifying condition. They brought him back home. That night, it was too late to arrange the funeral. The next day, after the Zuhr prayer, his janazah and burial were completed. After this incident, everything seemed to be over. But it wasn't. In the following days, Raffaculla's son, Sheila's father-in-law, could not find peace. He constantly felt uneasy, restless, as if something was wrong. He kept thinking, maybe my father is not at peace. Maybe something is troubling him. One night, he saw a dream. In the dream, his father appeared and said, "Rafiq, I have always told you everything. You are my only son. You know it all. I went to that Kali temple. I brought the head of the statue. You already know everything I did. You're my only son. I've always told you everything. Yes, I have died. But my death was not natural. The very jinn that I had imprisoned, they are the ones who killed me. I have no regret about my death, because I was a sinner. I must face the consequences of my actions. But even after my death, danger still hangs over our family. I am not at peace. I need you to do a few things for me. Please." At this point, Raffaculla's son, Sheila's father-in-law, asked in the dream, "What do you want me to do, father?" Raffaculla replied. "In the room where I used to practice my rituals, dig into the center of that room, about 1 to 1.5 hand lengths deep. You will find a bottle there. Take that bottle, and all my books, notes, handwritten manuscripts, everything related to my practices. Throw all of it into the pond beside the house." His son asked, "But why should I do this?" Raffaculla answered, "I made a terrible mistake. I imprisoned a righteous jinn, and that was a grave sin. That jinn is still trapped inside that bottle, and all this time it has been cursing me, tormenting me. That is why I am suffering. Please release it." After seeing this dream, Raffaculla's son woke up at dawn. Without wasting time, he went to that room, the one where his father used to practice his rituals. He began digging at the center. After digging about 1 to 1.5 hand lengths deep, he found exactly what his father had described: a bottle. Its mouth was tightly sealed with a red cloth, tied with something like a talisman or binding charm. He took it out and opened it. Then he gathered all of his father's books, notes, and ritual items, and threw everything into the pond. After that, he never saw his father in dreams again. Nothing unusual happened to him afterward. This was the story of Raffaculla's son, Sheila's father-in-law, about his father. After finishing, he said, "I've told you everything I know. Now go to the spiritual healer and see what can be done. And please forgive my father." Hearing this, Sheila immediately called her mother. 2 days later, they traveled again to Sirajanch. When they met the religious scholar and Sheila explained everything, he said, "Yes, I understand now. I had already investigated through my own means. I had some idea of what your grandfather-in-law had done. But now, hearing it from you, everything is confirmed." He continued, "The black magic that has been done on your family. Because of that, the same righteous jinn has now entered your house for revenge." Some people might wonder, why would a righteous jinn seek revenge? But even a righteous being can feel anger. After being imprisoned for so many years and suffering so much, anger is natural. The scholar then explained, when the black magic was performed on your family, that jinn was already watching over your house. Someone from within your household was involved in having this black magic done. The jinn followed that person and eventually reached the sorcerer who carried out the magic. Then the jinn made a deal with that sorcerer. "If you are going to send a jinn to this house, send me. I will do the job. In return, I will reward you." The sorcerer couldn't resist the temptation, so he sent that very jinn to your house. And from that moment on, the jinn began its work inside your home. At first, the black magic began affecting the household. After that, it even caused the loss of your children as an act of revenge. Now, it is extremely important that the person who performed the black magic removes it completely. All the buried amulets and charms must be taken out as well. After returning home, everyone was gathered together. She asked, "If anyone here has done this, please tell me. We are suffering because of it. I have already lost 2 children. I promise I will not say anything to anyone. I swear." At that moment, something unexpected happened. Her mother-in-law broke down in tears and confessed, "I did it." She was shocked and asked, "Why would you do something like this?" Her mother-in-law replied, "After you came into this house, I saw how close you became with everyone. I felt like I was losing my place in the family. I was afraid that you would take my son and my family away from me. Out of fear, I did this to you, but I never wanted the children to die. I never wished for that. Not even once." She said nothing in response. The mother-in-law then went herself and removed all the buried charms and talismans. After that, the whole family went to a spiritual healer. The healer told them, "The black magic has been removed, but the jinn has already entered your home because the spiritual protection was broken. Now we must speak to it and convince it to stop causing harm." The healer then summoned the jinn. Through the conversation, it became clear that the jinn was extremely angry and unwilling to let go of its revenge. The healer tried to reason with it. "You are a righteous being. Why are you doing this?" After a long discussion, the jinn finally said, "I know an injustice has been done. The fault is not hers, nor her husband's. The one who wronged me has already been punished. But what about me? For so many years, I was separated from my family, my wife, my children. I couldn't see them, couldn't be with them. Now, I want to make him understand what that pain feels like. The healer asked, "How will you do that?" The jinn replied, "When they are about to have a child, when his wife becomes pregnant for 2 years, he will not be able to see his child. Not the face, not the eyes, nothing. I want him to feel that distance. If you accept this condition, then after 2 years, I will leave you alone. But if the father comes near the child during those 2 years, I will destroy everyone." With no other choice, the family agreed. About 6 months later, she became pregnant again. A few months into the pregnancy, her husband realized that staying like this was impossible. He couldn't live away from his wife and child like this, so he decided to go abroad for work. While he was arranging his visa and documents, she was taken to her mother's home. Within a couple of months, everything was ready, and he left the country. Before leaving, he met his wife just once, on the day of his flight, for only a few minutes. Then he left. Later, a baby girl was born. Today, she is around 10 years old and has memorized the Quran. During those 2 years, there were no further incidents. He returned years later. The family later had more children, a daughter and a son. But even now, he says, "You cannot understand what it feels like. I couldn't see my own child for 2 years. I couldn't hear her call me father. I only heard about her from my wife, how she was, how she looked. That's all I had. You cannot understand how painful that is. Because of one person's mistake, an entire family had to suffer."